Hey, what's up guys, and welcome back to another ultimate review. Today I have with me a pair of in-ear monitors from the house of Astrotec. So these are the Astrotec AM850 MK2. And what's special about this IEM is the fact that they come with separate detachable tuning nozzles, and each of these give you a separate sound signature. So basically you sort of get 3 in-ear monitors for the price of 1. But whether this is a gimmick or if it actually makes a difference, we'll get into more of that as I give you my verdict. But before we begin, if you do enjoy watching these videos and enjoy my unbiased opinion and the high quality that I try to maintain, please smash the like button and subscribe to the channel. And as you will see that there will be a join button below this video. So that is the membership program. So if you want, for a monthly fee, you can become a member of this channel. You will be a direct supporter of my content and you'll get some exclusive perks. But if you can't become a member, if you don't want to, that's no problem at all. You can still make a contribution by hitting the super thanks button and make a contribution, a one-time contribution of any amount that you want, that you think that this channel deserves. That way you guys will be helping me run this channel and I can produce more such high quality and helpful content just for you guys. Alright, so with that out of the way, let's begin. Alright, so the Astrotec AM850 comes in a medium-sized box. And as you take off or slide off the outer cover, you're greeted with the matte box that lies inside. Once you open that, you can see that some of the components are very neatly arranged inside, so 10 on 10 for presentation. But there is a lot more that's packed inside. Starting off, we have the warranty card. You also get a very high quality leather case, or maybe it's faux leather, I'm not sure, but it's very high quality and it's ideal for carrying these in-ear monitors and all the components that it provides. You also get various pairs of silicone ear tips of various sizes, and they've been generous enough to also include memory ear tips, which I always prefer. There is also a small pouch where you can carry some extra ear tips or maybe the tuning nozzles that come with this in-ear monitor. You get the MMCX connectors that have oxygen-free copper cables and ends in a 3.5mm audio jack. Then we get to the interesting part where you get this aluminum plate which houses 2 pairs of tuning nozzles, and the third pair is not missing, it's actually installed in the in-ear monitors themselves. And we will get into what these tuning nozzles do and what the differences are down the line. And finally, you get the AM850 MK2 in-ear monitors themselves. Now, speaking of the build quality of the in-ear monitors, these are made of aluminum alloy and they feel dense. They have a good amount of heft to it, so there is no plastic involved anywhere. Feels very premium, feels cool to the touch. I love that. It's matte, it's got their logo embossed on the top, and all in all it feels very formidable and it gives you that assurance that it's going to last for years to come. Now, although these are made of aluminum alloy and the moment you get your hands on them, they do feel a bit heavy. But the best part is once I put them in my ears, they fit very snug and you totally forget about the weight because they were very comfortable, because there were no jagged edges anywhere, so they don't cut into your ears, and even for long listening sessions they were very comfortable. Now, usually in-ear monitors come with either the 2-pin connector cables or these MMCX cables. So this has the MMCX version, and this doesn't really have any audio advantage as such, but it just snaps into the in-ear monitors, and because these don't have pins and it kind of just plugs into place, it feels much more sturdy, and the in-ear monitors can actually swivel around, so that helps you adjust the cable when it's on your ear, and you can find the right angle for the cables to hang off. So I kind of find it preferable over the 2-pin connector cables. Now, in terms of the specs, the AM850 MK2s have 10mm dynamic drivers packed inside, and they have an impedance of 32 ohms. So although these are low impedance in-ear monitors, I'd still suggest, as I always do, that you do invest in a portable DAC. That way these in-ear monitors can perform to their full potential and give you the maximum possible audio quality that they can push out, because our phones don't really have good inbuilt DACs in them. So I'll link the portable DAC that I use in the description below so you can check it out from there. Now let's get into the unique part about the AM850 MK2s, which are its detachable tuning nozzles. So this is not something very new. Other in-ear monitors also have this. So basically, for all of you who don't know what these nozzles do, so it comes packed with 3 detachable tuning nozzles, and each of these have, according to Astrotec at least, they're supposed to give you different audio signatures. So you have the ones that come attached with the in-ear monitors are called Tide, and they are the gray colored nozzles, and the ones that come attached to the plate inside the box are black, which is neutral, and gold, which is called air. Now, the ones which come attached, called Tide. Now, I'm guessing since Tides have highs and lows, so the Tide is supposed to give you kind of a V sound signature where the bass response and the high frequencies are given preference, maybe exaggerated to an extent, while the neutral ones, as they sound, are neutral, so they will take a bit of the edge of the bass and introduce a bit of the shine from the high frequencies and try to give you more or less of a balanced sound where the vocals are also given equal preference. And then you have air, which is the gold nozzle. Now, as it sounds, air gives you a very breezy audio experience where it gives a bit more shine to the highs and a bit to the vocals as well, while cutting a bit of the edge off from the bass response in case you find that a bit too overwhelming. Now, whether or not these actually play out in real life when you change these nozzles, I'll get into when I give you my verdict. But it's good to know that if you get this pair of in-ear monitors, then you pay for one, but you get the audio signature of 3. Alright, so with all that out of the way, now let's talk about the main criteria, which is the audio quality. How did these perform in my testing? So you guys know, whenever I do these reviews, I don't just say it's good sound or bad sound. I give you my review in detail and tell you that I judge these in-ear monitors based on how they produce the 3 main frequencies that make up broadly any sound that you hear: highs, mids, and lows. Highs, where the really sharp sounding instruments are, mids, where the vocals are, and the lows or the bass. Alright, so my verdict on the sound will be based on the default tuning nozzle that came attached right in the box, which is the grey one, which is called Tide, and which is supposed to give you a V sound signature. So keep that in mind when I give you this verdict. So starting off with the higher frequencies, obviously with the V sound signature, the higher frequencies had that extra bit of crispness, that sparkle, that really bright high without any sort of sibilance. So they don't sound unpleasant, but they are a bit of that exaggerated high frequency, and they are definitely very much separate from the mid frequencies and the bass as well. And every instrument in that range, in the high frequencies, were clearly audible. Now, if you are not a fan of this sort of extra sparkly highs, you might want to use a different tuning nozzle, and I'll get into that in a bit. But for someone, say, who enjoys the sound signature of the KZ ZSN Pro X, which has a V sound signature, you'll know what I'm talking about, and it is very similar. So no sibilance, but very, very fun and very sparkly, sharp, a lot of clarity in the highs, and that is quite enjoyable. Now coming to the mid frequencies or the vocals, well, with the grey tuning nozzle and with the V sound signature, I found that the vocals weren't as rich and as warm as I would want them to be. You know, that natural tonality, the natural warmth in the vocals, which should be there, that took a bit of a back seat, maybe because of the V sound signature. I'm not saying that the vocals were bad. They were clearly audible and there was good separation from the highs, but I felt that the bass does creep in a tad bit into the vocals where the separation takes a bit of a hit. So in my harsh opinion, I would say that the vocals could have been a tad bit more rich, a bit more warm, and a bit more upfront without sounding hollow. But this does change when I change into the other tuning nozzles, and I'll get into that in a bit. But in general, the vocals sounded okay using the grey tuning nozzle. Finally, coming to the bass or the low end, well, because this gives you the V sound signature, so obviously the bass response was thick, it was deep, it had the rumble, and it goes into the sub lows. And this is me not using any sort of EQ on the audio player or the phone I was using. So if you want even further bass response, you can obviously tweak around or play around with the equalizer, increase the bass, and that'll make the bass even more powerful. But in general, the bass is thick and thumpy and it goes deep and is very enjoyable to listen to, and there is absolutely no distortion. Now, this is where your preferences will come in, and this is where the unique tuning nozzles do play their bit. So this was the gray one, which is called Tide, gives you a V sound signature. So then I changed into the black one, which is called Neutral. Obviously, when it's neutral, it is going to cut off the edges from the higher frequencies so as to not have the exaggerated sharpness, and cut out a bit of the bass response so that it doesn't sound too rumbly, and maybe boost a bit of the vocals. So the neutral was kind of a pleasant surprise, because that bit of warmth and natural tonality which I was craving from the vocals in the mid frequencies, I got that addressed with the neutral tuning nozzle. So that addressed that bit, and it doesn't sound blunt. Don't get me wrong, that just because it reduces the sparkle in the highs and a bit of the lows, it doesn't sound blunt by any means. You still get enough punch in the bass, you still get utmost clarity in the highs, just that the vocals sound a bit more natural, and it's more enjoyable to listen to songs this way. And finally, we get to the last tuning nozzle, which is the gold one called Air. This again adds a bit of sparkle to the highs, and it adds a bit of body to the vocals. So the vocals do get an upgrade here, and they do sound much better. And the low end is reduced, but not to the point where they sound flat or the bass is missing. You get enough thump, you still get the thickness, the punch of the bass response, but the vocals just sound a bit more, have a bit more clarity. So now, depending on what type of music or song you're listening to, what kind of audio signature you prefer, you can switch between these different tuning nozzles and find the one that suits you or your taste the best. So there you have it, guys. That was my review of the Astrotec AM850 Mark II. I hope you enjoyed this. If you have, definitely smash the like button and subscribe to the channel and share this video. And I'll leave a link of these in-ear monitors in the description below, and I would really appreciate if you use that link to make your purchase. That way you guys will help me run this channel, and I can produce more such unbiased, honest and high quality content just for you guys. So thank you so much for stopping by, and I'll catch you guys very soon in the next one. Cheers.